Hi, my name is Tang, and this part I'm presenting the steps to analyze network attacks. With Wireshark open, we want to click on File and Open. And from here, we want to find the location of our PCAP file, which should be on desktop, and will be q1.pcap. Go on ahead and open it. So in the first part, we'll start observing the initial statistic. So we go to Statistic and Capture File Property. If we just scroll all the way down, we can see that there has been 3,433 packets captured within 9 seconds, and the average is 374.7. It can be considered as very high volume of packets in a very short amount of time. So upon this initial analysis, the captured network traffic exhibit several signs of a flood attacks. So a significant number of packets are transmitted within a very short time frame, which is a common characteristic of such attacks. And flooding attacks are designed to overwhelm a server or a system by sending a very high volume of requests from a single source, thereby exhausting the target's resources and potentially causing service disruptions. If we were to again go to statistic and go to conversation, and if we were to go to IPv4, the total amount of packets is 3,433, which is the same as the initial statistic from these two addresses. So there has been a constant communication between these two addresses within a very short amount of time. And if we were go to the TCP, so when we're looking at this, address A is sending packets from various ports to port 80 of address B. And what does it say? We are revealing that the packets being sent from various source ports from IP address 10.0.0.2 to a destination port of 80 on IP address 10.1 to 8.0.2. This pattern indicates that the attackers is targeting the HTTP service hosted on this address. Now from our main screens, what we're going to do is we want to inspect the packets a little more closely. So as you can see from earlier, we know that there's only this communication between these two addresses. There's no need to apply the filters for source IP or destination IP. However, we want to filter out the particular packet we want to have a look at. So the first packet we want to have a look at is definitely the TCP packets. So if you have a look here, so we can clearly see the three-way handshake. So starting from the source to the destination aiming as port 80, from this port is sending a sync request packet, and from there, the server also responds with a sync and acknowledge package. And once the attackers got the sync attack acknowledge packet, the attacker will then send back a acknowledge packet, which now the three-way handshake has been successfully performed, and there has been a connections between the two addresses now. As you can also see, not only the TCP packets, but these connections are also properly terminated using a finish and acknowledge packets, which will require us to investigate further what other activities is currently happening. As flood attacks had many forms, it can present itself as a sync flood or a get flood. There's many forms of it. Now, we want to also apply a filter for HTTP packets as well, as this will be probably the main activities happening within from the attackers. So you can see there is an extended amount of get packets or get requests from the attackers. If we were to pick out the first one, as you can see, the packet is originating from port 49940 to destination port 80. This is the activities post the three-way handshake that we observed before. So currently we are sending a guest request packet for this particular path on the host called study.mazebo.com. Now with the server responding, the server is responding to this particular destination port again, the requested HTML pathway. So you can see the full request URL is this, and what the server is replying with is basically a HTML website with title demos and some sort of image. And this is a very characteristic activities or characteristic sign of a HTTP GET flood attack, where the attacker will send an extended GET packets in order to saturate the system or to overload the system function of sending back or responding. So if we were to look at the GET packets more closely, we can see that the GET packets are also slightly varied, and the port will be changed every time a GET packet is sent away. This is a very common technique used to mimic legitimate user traffic, and is completely by doing so bypassing the target service detection mechanic. Now to connect all the dots from our analysis, so based on the systematic analysis of the network packet capture in q1.pcap, it can be concluded that the network is experiencing an HTTP GET flood attack. The attackers identified IP address 10.0.0.2 is deliberately overwhelming the target at 10.128.0.2 by establishing numerous TCP connections and sending a high volume of HTTP GET request to its web server on port 80. And the use of varied source port and a slightly altered request path by the attacker indicate an attempt to mimic legitimate user traffic, and thereby making detections and mitigations more challenging for the victim server. The continuous high volume nature of these requests designed to exhaust the target server's resources, leading to potential denial of service.